If you're an international student in Australia or planning to become one, your path to permanent residency might be about to get a whole lot easier. The Australian government just dropped some major updates that could completely change how students transition from study to PR. This isn't just policy talk. This could directly impact your future. Let's break down what's changing, what it means for you, and how to stay ahead of the curve. Are you an international student dreaming of permanent residency in Australia? Or maybe you've just started studying here and wondering what happens next. Well, the Australian government just released new immigration updates on September 27 that could completely change your future. From potential reforms to the points-tested system to new PR pathways for graduates, this is not just news. It's a game changer. In today's video, I'm breaking it all down clearly, simply, and with real advice on what you should do next. So grab a notepad, because if you're serious about staying in Australia long-term, you need to hear this. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're an international student in Australia or planning to become one, this is a video you absolutely don't want to miss. We're diving into some major updates from Australian immigration as of September 27th that could significantly impact your future, especially when it comes to permanent residency and the points test system. So let's get straight into it. On September 27, the Australian government released new insights and proposed changes regarding the skilled migration system. And a big part of that discussion focused on international students, especially how they transition from studying to working and eventually to permanent residency. Now, this is something that has always been a bit of a gray area for many students. You come in with a student visa, work hard, graduate, maybe get a temporary graduate visa, but then what? The path to PR has often felt uncertain or overly complicated. Well, it looks like the government finally took notice. One of the key things being considered is a reform of the points-tested system. For those who aren't familiar, the General Skilled Migration Pathway currently uses a points-based system where factors like your age, English proficiency, qualifications, work experience, and other criteria determine your eligibility for permanent residency. But here's the catch. Many international students are finding that after graduation, their points just aren't enough. And it's not necessarily because they're not skilled. It's because the system has been heavily geared towards older applicants with more years of work experience, often sidelining young, talented graduates who have just completed their degrees in Australia. So now, the government is considering a redesign of this system. They're exploring ways to give international graduates a clearer and fairer path to PR. This could mean awarding more points for Australian qualifications, local work experience, even placements or internships done during study. There's also talk about introducing a new graduate-specific skilled visa stream. That would be a huge deal. It could mean a more direct pathway for students who study in high-demand fields like healthcare, engineering, IT, or education areas where Australia is currently facing serious skill shortages. Another potential change is how work experience is counted. Right now, international students often work part-time during study and full-time on temporary graduate visas, but not all of that experience is considered valid when applying for PR. That might change. The government is now reviewing whether more weight should be given to that work, especially if it's in areas that contribute to the Australian economy. But here's something even more interesting. There's a growing conversation about retaining top international talent. The government is acknowledging that many international students who study in Australia end up leaving because the migration system isn't responsive enough. So we're likely to see a shift toward more proactive retention strategies. Think more targeted invitations, priority processing, or even region-specific programs that encourage students to live and work in regional areas. Now, while nothing is set in stone just yet, Australia wants to create a migration system that better matches international education with long-term economic needs. And that means you, as an international student, could be in a much stronger position in the near future, especially if you're studying in fields that are aligned with national skills priorities. Of course, with all these changes being proposed, there are still questions. When will this come into effect? Will current students benefit? What about those who are already on a graduate visa? The truth is, we'll need to wait for the final policy announcements, likely in early 2026. But If you're currently planning your studies or midway through, it's a good time to start thinking strategically. Choose your course wisely, gain relevant experience, and stay updated with the latest news from the Department of Home Affairs. These proposed changes could finally make the PR pathway smoother and more realistic for thousands of international students. Whether you're just starting your course, finishing up, or already on a graduate visa, now is the time to plan smart and stay informed. I'll be covering every major update as they come, so if you want to stay ahead of the curve, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And hey, drop your thoughts or questions in the comments. What do you think of these changes? Are they enough? Let's talk about it. Thanks so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one with more updates to help you thrive in Australia.